If you're looking at January Marin County condo sales and thinking, inventory's up, days on market jumped, but prices look mixed, you're not wrong. January condo data is especially easy to misread. Some of what you're seeing reflects December's slowdown. Some reflects real shifts in the condo market, and a few of these charts are sending very different signals depending on how closely you look. Today, I'll quickly walk you through what's actually going on with Marin Condos in January, why the charts feel confusing, and what matters if you're deciding between a condo or a house in early 2026. So let's get to it. Before we dive into the condo charts, here's the context of what matters. As I said, January's condo sales mostly reflect December's behavior, which is the slowest time of the year. That's why sales are down and days on market jumped. Those numbers lag reality by about 30 days. At the same time, inventory and pricing signals are closer to real time. That's why you'll be seeing charts that reflect that. And unlike the single family market, the condo scene isn't really driven by these whale sales. So when we see longer sell times and softer quarterly pricing, those shifts tend to be more meaningful. So that's the backdrop. By the way, I'm Karrie Hill, lawyer turned realtor, 30-year Marin local, and the person who helps you buy or sell here with your sanity and bank account intact. If you need some backup, or if you'd like my free newsletter, which shows exactly which homes closed the prior month and all the math about being above or below, information you're not going to find anywhere else, the link is in the description. And hey, if you get even one nugget here, hit subscribe. It motivates me to keep pumping out this content, and it tells YouTube that I'm not just talking to myself about housing charts. Thank you so much. Okay, on to the charts. Okay, let's take a look at inventory. Inventory is in these light green bars, and you can see that from December to January, it's now up 13%. When you compare it to last year, though, it is lower, 13.3% lower. And we can't do the quarterly numbers because it just doesn't work for this particular statistic. But you can see that, the same thing happened last year, right? You go from December to January, they are up. And then it's really next month that will be most interesting to see where inventory is going. Sales were down from December to January, but remember these lag by 30 days. So these are really December sales, and that tends to happen every year too. Okay, that's interesting. Last year, same thing. From December, which are really November numbers, to January, which are really December numbers. So that's just not surprising. There's always less activity in December. Regarding the homes that there are more new listings, that's also typical. That's going to happen every year. So nothing earth-shattering here. Let's go on to the next slide. And days on market. So how long does a house sit on the market before it sells? So that was up significantly from 70 to 86 in January. Now, please note, this is an average days on market. So this is also a lagging inventory or indicator. And this 86 has a lot more to do about the slowness that happens in December than the January. But in any event, you can see the same thing happened last year where it was up in January. So that represented up 22.9% over the month. More interesting is it was higher than this time last year by 21.1%, so harder to sell a home this year than last year. And when you look the full quarterly numbers, that smooths out a little bit to just up 6.5%. So that much harder, 6.5% for the full quarter this year compared to the quarter last year. That makes it just a tiny bit harder for a seller to sell a home. Regarding this, the sales price over the original list price, again, that dipped down a little bit, but it has more to do what sellers decide their original list price is. So it's almost an indicator about sellers. How close are they to getting it right? And right now they're not at 100, so they're not very close. They're way down here at 92, which is lower than the month before. It's also much more lower than it was compared to last year, and smoothed out a bit at a negative 2.1% when you compare the whole quarter. And so overall here, though, it shows that sellers are hoping to get more for their properties than they're actually getting. And that disconnect of what sellers think they're going to get is worse than it was last year. Particularly if you go to like January, they're at 98. right? So same time last year. So they were much better at deciding what the house was going to sell for. And now they're pricing too high, worse than last year. Okay, so here are the prices, and as you can see, the median price did go up from last month. Remember though, these are the previous month's actual activity. So this is the activity in November, this is the activity in December. So that is of interest, right? That the pricing actually went up during the slowest part of the year. What that actually was up 5.1%, but when you look at the full quarterly numbers, which are more relevant, it's down 6.1%. So prices did get weaker from this year compared to last year. The red line here are the sold average prices. You know, that average price can get pushed around a lot when we're looking at either the data for all of Marin or for single family homes, and it gets pushed around by the whales. But I suspect it probably can get pushed around a little bit here too, because we still have quite a bit of variety in pricing of condos because of the fact that we have condos in, 55 plus areas that have these huge HOAs like $4,000, and then they have very low prices on the actual unit. So we still have a big range in prices, which makes the average not as useful as medians. But despite that, average went up 22.7%, but when we pull in more statistics with the quarterly numbers, then prices, even average prices, were down 10%. So we're seeing some decrease for sure in condo prices in Marin. And here's the last little bit of evidence we can use as to what's going on, and that is actually showing that prices went up per square foot. So people got less for their money, and that represented 8.5% increase in the prices over a month. However, again, when we look at the full quarterly numbers, price per square foot's down 6.6%. So compare that with the last chart with the prices for all the quarters being down too, and we're seeing that prices are decreasing and overall buyers are getting more for their money. So this is a pretty clear and significant change for the condo market. What this means if you're buying or selling. January tells us the Marin condo market is softening faster than the single family homes, but not collapsing. For buyers, that means more leverage and less urgency, especially on overpriced units. For sellers, pricing accuracy matters even more here than in single family homes. This is the segment where the data is quieter but clearer if you know how to read it. If you're deciding between a condo or a house in Marin, this split behavior is exactly why strategy matters more than headlines. If you're checking out condos or townhouses for sale in Marin, or debating whether it's time to sell, there should be some other helpful videos popping up right now. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much.